There's something about running water that just like calms me, and it eases not just myself. I think other people too. It's like calming. Running water, like it's flowing. You hear that sound? It's nice. Like I don't know what I want to talk about in this video. I just like started recording the water from this river right here. That's a dike on the side of those little what they call that, concrete slabs that you see on the side. I think they call that dike. I'm not sure. But anyway, yeah, look at the scenery. This is that part over here by the mountains. And yeah, that's the bridge over there that I run across, and then it's another bridge that like where I start off at. That's before this one, so just calming, soothing. You know, I was watching this YouTube video, and it was this guy. You know, both black dudes. I mostly follow like black male travelers and stuff because I'm a black dude, and I'm not really one of those pro-black people, but I kind of just like watch other guys that are similar to myself to kind of see what the experiences is, even though like their experience is not necessarily my experience, because some guys carry themselves with that hip-hop swag, and some dudes look more clean-cut professional. So you know, I just watch. I think it's interesting. You know, I think if I watch it like long enough, maybe I communicate something spiritually that hey, I want to be in that place. But yeah, I'm in Japan right now, but I will be leaving soon, and everything's working out. You know, I'll be in Taiwan soon. So what was I gonna say? Yeah. Anyway, on the YouTube channel, like his name is Peace Love Shoe. I watch him. I subscribe to him, and on his channel, he was interviewing this dude that lived in Vietnam. Another black dude. He's a veteran, and he lived in like Vietnam for I don't know, like a few years. And anyway, they were talking, right, and he was saying how like, yeah, you know, it's African, because you know there's African people everywhere. So he was saying how the African people in Vietnam, they, you know, pick up the language quick. They fluent in Vietnamese. And you know, it's the same thing. I know another guy. I was just watching his YouTube. I was walking and listening to his live stream, and he was talking about. But this dude is in he's usually in China. He's in Thailand right now, but he's usually in China. And he was saying how the Africans in China, they pick up the language really quick. You know, like, and even Chinese people were impressed with that. How Africans pick up their language real quick, and so the reason for that, I know exactly why that is, because you know I was always into like different countries and history and all that stuff, and I know that throughout Africa there's over 850 different Bantu dialects. Because most of the time, like, you know, you ask any American, even a black American especially, if you ask them like what language they speak in Africa, they're gonna either say more likely gonna say Swahili if they know that, you know, or they gonna say they speak African. Well, there's no such thing as a language called African. So but there are different Bantu dialects. There's like over 850. So the language, even though it's like the same family of languages, they're not the same. It's kind of like how Spanish and Italian and Portuguese are different. So it's like you can detect similarities, but it's like obviously it's not the same language. So anyway, like I said, throughout the continent of Africa and sub-Saharan Africa more so, and that's from the Sahara Desert down, there's over 850 different Bantu dialects, not to mention the Swahili dialects and the Semitic dialects too. You know, like Ethiopians, they speak a Semitic language similar to Hebrew. I'm not saying nothing about black Jews and all that. I ain't saying nothing about that. But I'm just saying it's like a lot of different language spoken in Africa. So because there's so many different languages, like even in one country, it might be like 20 different languages spoken. They might have an overarching language, but they have like different regional dialects, and so it's different languages basically. So since it's different languages, the Africans have to have fine-tuned ears to pick up little nuances. Oh, it's a car coming by. So their ears are more adjusted to picking up like different subtleties in the languages. They can pick up different linguistical, if that's a word, nuances in a language, and you know, detect things and pick it up real fast because they hear so in their home country they hear so many different dialects, you know. And in Nigeria, I think it's about out of the 850 different Bantu dialects, 400 are spoken in Nigeria. Nigeria has a population 200 million. Now that's the most populous African nation. Now other countries in Africa, they're really big, but they're sparsely populated, which means they only have like 20, like it's like a small amount of people in a big land area. So people say that Africa has a population problem. Now Nigeria does have a lot of people. That doesn't mean it has a population problem, but it does have like a lot of people. It's the size of Texas, has about 200 million people. But that's the only country that's really like, populated to that level. But other countries in Africa, they got huge swaths of land where there are no people, probably no human beings have ever been. It's countries like that's half the size of the United States and only got 40 million people. That's like a little bit of people in that big land area that they have. So, Africa, basically what I'm saying is they don't have a population problem. That's just, United States and ignorances in America that, they're just racist. They're trying to say it needs to be less of them because they think somebody's taking something from them. And really, United States and Western nations are the biggest consumers. But they worried about African people who are not the biggest consumers consuming everything up when they're actually the ones doing it. So it's crazy, it's just so backwards. But anyway, if anything, United States is actually more densely populated, North America is actually more densely populated than Africa. But anyway, I just wanted to bring that up, like how it's a lot of different dialects in Africa, and Africans do pick up language faster because they're used to hearing many different languages spoken in their home country. Like one country, population 40 million, probably got 20 different languages spoken. And so for them picking up Chinese, it's really not that hard. A lot of Americans may think Chinese is hard because they think, they look at the Chinese writing and they say, oh, that's hard. But really, the way the Chinese speak, their sentence structure is similar to English. It's not all that much different. So all you really doing is memorization, vocabulary, and catching, picking up a few phrases. That's all you're doing. But really, like, just learn the vocabulary, you should be able to pick up the language pretty quick. It's not really that hard. If people actually took the time to just like investigate, they'll see that, well, it's not as hard as it appears to be. But I'm just gonna leave it right there. I don't want this video going too long. But it's a nice scenery. All right, later.